Well, hello, Port City people. Our first installment for This Week in Geek. We're going to talk about Halloween. Not the holiday, the movie. And so, of course, the first question most of you are going to have if you're horror fans, oh, which one? Well, rumors have been circulating for a little while now that John Carpenter is back in the old Halloween game, and he was going to do a remake. And everyone was going to be like, well, wasn't a remake just done by that Rob Zombie guy? Yeah, there was. But Carpenter has decided to let David Gordon Green direct this new installment of Halloween. Up to this point, Mr. Green's biggest movie, at least that I've heard of, is Pineapple Express, a comedy. And he's been doing some directing for HBO, a couple of series there, and things like that. He has been chosen to helm the Halloween reboot. It's not going to be a remake, and that was confirmed by actor Danny McBride, who is currently in the HBO series Eastbound and Down, also directed by David Gordon Green. Recently, Mr. McBride told Cinema Blend, it's not going to continue our story. It's going to continue our story in a really grounded way. And for our mythology, we're focusing mainly on the first two movies and what that sets up, and then where the story can go from there. So apparently the plan is to reboot the Halloween series, not remake the first Halloween movie. So they're going to go with the original Halloween, the second Halloween. Everything else is in the garbage can. Season of the Witch, which was completely out there, nothing to do with Michael Myers. And then all the other stuff that came after that, H20, all that kind of stuff, gone, thrown away. We're going to cut it off right at Halloween number 2 and pick up from there. Apparently that's where this new Halloween movie, so it's not a remake. We are rebooting the series, apparently, and it's got the blessing of the series' father. So, John Carpenter. So, as a longtime horror fan, I got to tell you, I'm kind of interested. We'll see where it goes from there. There's a few things there. I know Rob Zombie's remake had mixed kind of reception from the horror community. I thought it did some good things. It did some of the things I wished the first Halloween original would have done. Kind of delved into what made Michael Myers this killer. But it also had its issues. I'll put it there. I wasn't totally thrilled with Zombie's second Halloween. The sequel to that. But it wasn't a bad remake. It was one of those remakes where I'm like, okay, this was all right, but did it have to be done? Not necessarily. That's kind of how I am with remakes. If there's not really a good reason to do a remake, then don't do a remake. But it wasn't horrible. So when I first heard maybe there's not a remake coming, I was like, huh. But I'm kind of out there. We'll see what they get. I'm a little intrigued that they're going to continue the series, and they're going to kind of, I can't say bad words. I don't want to get age-gated on our videos. They're going to toss out a lot of the stuff that came after, apparently, movie number 2. So we'll see where it goes from there. Interesting idea. As a horror fan, I'll give it a shot. So there it is, the scoop on the new Halloween. It is being done. It is not a remake. It's a series reboot. Basically, it will be a new Halloween 3. I have no idea what they're going to call it, but basically that's what they're saying. According to Danny McBride anyway, this will basically be a new Halloween 3, and it will continue the series from there. The series about Michael Myers. So there you go, horror fans. we'll see what they get. I mean, that's going to be something to keep an eye on. So that's our take on it for This Week in Geek. So that moves us on to another Star Trek topic. No, I'm not going to rant again. Well, I might. I might rant because I'm just that kind of guy. But last week I did mention in my Geek rant, talking about the Axonar situation of Star Trek, that CBS Paramount is starting a fledgling streaming channel, basically, and it's going to be centered around Star Trek. And the new show that they are making that exclusively to be streamed on this channel is called Star Trek Discovery. And for those of you who don't know, supposedly Star Trek Discovery is going to take place approximately 10 years before the original series, Kirk's and the crew's 5-year mission on the Enterprise. So 10 years before that. For most of you who are Trek fans, you know that 10 years before that, there were some kinds of crazy things going on in the Federation. The Federation was pretty much a fledgling in things, and there were some interesting things going on. But really, the big controversy that's come out of that recently is an on-set picture tweet from Andrew McKay showing him having lunch with the Klingons. And this set the old Star Trek geeks, all of us, a little crazy, because once again, they have decided the Klingons have to look different. So for whatever reason, Star Trek Discovery, we have new-looking Klingons. And we've kind of gone from our familiar lovable turtle heads with the plate in the front to kind of alien armored eggheads. That's kind of what they look like to me in this picture. I don't know. Again, I'm going to try not to rant because this isn't a geek rant. This is just a news blurb on this. So we do have new Klingons. So according to this new revelation, this picture we get from the set, the Klingons, because of the timeline, remember, this new show is being set before Kirk's mission, where we ran into Klingons in the original series, and then later on we see the Klingons again in the new movies. So that means, according to the TV or entertainment timeline, Klingons went from this to this, and finally to this. And for the most part, through the entire series, multiple series of Star Treks, we never have an explanation as to why the Klingons keep changing. I mean, almost every single other alien species I can think of throughout Star Trek has stated the Vulcans never changed, the Romulans have always looked the same, they've never changed the look of the Andorites. I mean, they get, a little better special effects, but for the most part, they look the same. The Klingons, for some reason, Trek people who make Trek, Paramount CBS people, just cannot leave that species alone. I really think they had a good thing going when they finally settled on our old familiar turtleheads. But for whatever reason, for this new series, we've got new-looking Klingons, and it's creating a stir. And again, not going into a rant, but it's just yet another thing that makes me shake my head and think, I'm not even going to bother with this new streaming channel. As much of a Trek fan as I am, it's pretty obvious that they're doing stuff that shows they have no real respect for their past. They're trying to be modern and relevant and doing change for change's sake. And, So anyway, there's my mini rant. But yes, this new shot came out. We have new Klingons. There you go. Yes, I know. Comments. We have a comment section now because we got a comment. That's pretty awesome. I kind of put it out there. And remember, on anything we talk about, including the last two, the Klingons and the Halloween Reboot series, you can either comment below the video in the YouTube comment section, or you can get a hold of us at portcitysquad@gmail.com. Send us a comment. And if you want to just talk about that kind of thing, if you want to suggest topics for future shows and things. This Week in Geek tends to be things that are happening right about now, kind of semi-news, semi-commentary on what's going on in the various geek worlds of comics, collectibles, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, all that kind of good stuff. But if you do want to send us a comment, you've got the Facebook section. You can write us something there. You can get a hold of us at our Gmail email account, or feel free in YouTube to comment in the comments below. So we do have a comment from Amazing Film. And Amazing Film says, we know about 11, but what about 8, 9, and 10? I hope they clear this up in Season 2. And Justice for Barb. All right, so obviously we're talking about what we talked about last week, Stranger Things, and that was one of the questions. You know, what do you think we're going to see in the second season? And Amazing Film brings up a really good point, is we do know about 11. And assuming that they didn't just randomly name her 11, put number 11 on her, that tends to mean that there were experiments 1 through 10 before her. What happened there? What's going on? Where are they? Are they still around? Have no idea. There's all kinds of possibilities to that, because our friend here, Amazing Film, asked about 8, 9, 10. Well, how about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? I mean, we've got 10 different things potentially out there. Now, that's assuming that they're doing all those same experiments at that one place. I mean, for all we know, 11 was the only one at this particular little government station, and 1 through 10 were at other places. Maybe there's some in Area 51. Maybe there's, who knows? But yeah, it would just seem to think that if we've heard about 11, and we met her in the first season, where's the rest of them? What's going on with that? Maybe we'll learn. That would be interesting to know who the rest of these 1 through 10s were. Good question, Amazing Film, and that would be neat if they talk about that in Season 2. I agree. Now, as far as this Justice for Barb thing, I don't understand what you're talking about. Barb, it's quite clear she ran away. She's a runaway. She's just one of those statistics out there. No, get that out of there. Get that out of there right now. So anyway, she ran away. That's the official line. Mm-hmm. Stranger Things, folks. We're looking forward to it. And so we're going to end here with another update about us Port City folks. And I finally have a couple of dates for you. Isn't that great? That's nice. So we do have some word that several of us got together via text. And we will be going to ModestoCon in July. So before Stockton Con, we actually have something going on. So that's going to be the weekend of July 8th and 9th at ModestoCon. We are looking forward to that. There's going to be, at the bare minimum, 4 out of the 6 main Port City squad there. So that's awesome. So July 8th and 9th, ModestoCon, we're going to be there. And then I told you last week we will be at Stockton Con. At the time, we were like kind of just doing things on the fly. Stockton Con dates, I have those for you, are August 19th and 20th. So, beginning of July and about the middle of August, we're going to be back in action at our booth. So, come by and see us. Buy things. I think you'll be those of you who know us well enough and have been to the booth many times, I think you're going to be surprised by a slightly new look. We've got things kind of planned out how we have it set up. We may actually be wearing Port City uniforms. How do you like that? And that's a little side thing that I think I can give out here. We talked about colors and what our corporate color is going to be for Port City comics and collectibles, and we did settle on a color. I'm not going to put it out here now, but one color that was bounced around was red, and we decided no, because then we would all be killed on an away mission. If you're a Star Trek fan, you know what that means. So no red shirts for Port City. But we will be doing something fun like that, and we will have a new look to our booth. And so we're looking forward to seeing you out there. Modesto Con, July 8th and 9th, and Stockton Con, August 19th and 20th. And as far as I know, we have other things lined up after that towards the end of the year. Once Noel, hello Noel, I've got to mention you at least once on camp because you won't get in front of the camera, so I got to put your name out there at least once. As soon as he gets me the dates, because he's our main guy who books a lot of these dates. He's got the connections there and stuff like that. As soon as he gets me shows and dates for after Stockton Con, I will get them out here. But for now, there we go. Modesto Con and Stockton Con. I know Grape City Con is coming up for Lodi. Man, we are sorry we are not going to make that. That is a fun convention, and if I can sneak away and even just go visit it, I may go just to get some shots of the cosplay and stuff like that. But we won't have a booth there this year. That's kind of a bummer. But once again, Modesto Con, Stockton Con, July and August. We hope to see you there. And that wraps up our This Week in Geek. So thanks very much. And we'll see what kind of new things in the geek world, science fiction, fantasy, horror, comics, collectibles, toys, animation, any of that kind of stuff. Whatever pops up, we'll talk about it next week. And we'll see you then.